Good morning, everybody. It's Monday and it's beautiful here in Seattle, but that's my weather report. Today, we are talking all about empaths in relationships. And every time I say that or write it, I think of The Muppet Show, like pigs in space, and my brain just goes, empaths in relationships. And yeah, I'm a 70s child. What are you going to do? Okay, so empaths. We are quite a interesting bunch, especially when it comes to relationships. So should I start with the good news or should I start with the bad news? I'm just kidding. It's all good. And so we're just these like super awesome beings that, just need some understanding. Hi, Anne. We are such feelers. We are such absorbers that being in a relationship with us could be pretty tricky, especially if we're not doing our soul care, especially if we're not an empowered empath. And if you're just learning about being an empath, this is like going to be right up your alley. So my parents, side note, have been together since they are 16 and 17, and they are now like 80 and 79. And they are like, you open up the book and it says like codependency. There is a picture of my parents. Okay. So, which is why, aside from being a therapist, I'm pretty damn good at knowing about codependency. But here's the deal. Like when I was younger, I used to wonder why I had a fear of commitment. And, this was like before I was in grad school, before I was doing all this work on myself, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't get it. They've been married for so long. It doesn't make sense, And so what I realized is that I didn't have a fear of commitment. What I had was a fear of engulfment. And I literally thought that I would lose myself if I got into a relationship. And pre-doing all of my work on myself, I was a little bit of a chameleon, being like, oh, okay, I'll be the cheerleader to the football player in high school. I'll be the hippie to the deadhead in my early 20s, and then once I started to get like, oh shit, wait, hold on, I need to like look at who I am and figure myself out, I could really attract a different type of relationship and not just morph, because one of the things that empaths struggle with, which shows up a lot in codependency, is where do I end and where do you begin? And when we don't really understand that concept, there is a lot of bleed over. There is a lot of codependency. There is a lot of engulfment. Hey, Kara girl. And so when these things are, happening and there is that engulfment and enmeshment, we can attract super unhealthy relationships. Either narcissistic ones or enmeshed ones, or ones that have totally rescuing behaviors, which is not so fun. Yes, Sarah. Yes. I agree, obviously, because I'm talking about it, right? So we literally wear our hearts on our sleeves and have a tendency, very high tendency, to get deeply wounded. Even with the smallest things, it's just like, vroom, right? I mean, even like I consider myself a pretty empowered empath, and I'm just like, holy shit, man. Like, Rob was just quite honestly in a mood this morning because our neighbor's dogs were barking at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's all grumpy with me, and I'm like feeling it. And I'm like, this isn't even my fucking shit. What am I feeling? And so I had to like go into meditation, and I was doing my vortex of energy to clear it all out and all the things, and so, and look, I'm even wearing this shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Feel all the feels. So even empowered empaths get triggered by shit. Okay. So the other thing, because we get so deeply wounded, it's really kind of a challenge navigating relationships. And so we literally, I love you guys. I love these truth realms and preach. Thank you, ladies. We literally wear our hearts on our sleeves, like big time. And, and it's that's where we get wounded, right? And so but to add another level to this is that we love so deeply and so hard and feel all the feels. But on the flip side, we also crave alone time. We're kind of like fucking cats. Like, they're like, we just want to be like pet when we feel like being pet, otherwise we're like, peace out. And so we want to be with you. We really, really do. And then we want you to go away. And it's not that we actually want you to go away, but we need the solitude to be with ourselves so that we can recalibrate all of the energy that we are constantly picking up from our partner or our friends or our family members. So it is very much, it's totally fucking exhausting. That's what I'm saying. We're like complicated creatures where we want to love deeply, we want to love wholeheartedly, and then we want you to go the fuck away. So, these poor people that we're in relationships with, right? And so that alone time is so super important because we need to recalibrate. And when we are that empowered empath, we understand the need for alone time. And we also understand the pitfalls of being potentially in a codependent relationship. And that is why soul care is so ridiculously important for all of us, empath or not. We have to get up early in the morning. We have to do our soul care practice, so that we have, yeah, totally. Just let me breathe for an hour. Right now, my girls are at a sleepover and we've been kind of bubbling with this family. So everybody is really safe. They have, they're outside, they've got the mask, all the things. But I'm like, oh my God, I have my whole house to myself today. This is so exciting. And I'm just loving that I get to be by myself. Anyway, so you have to do the soul care, right? And so also I want you guys to think about what you energetically are putting out there, because it's not just absorbing other people's energy. Start thinking about what you are radiating out. And so, because what you're radiating out is what you're going to attract back. So I always like to say that people have antennas on the top of their head, and sometimes they're broken, in the relationship department. Sometimes they're broken in other departments of life, right? But talking about relationships, if you have a broken antenna, you are going to attract somebody with another broken antenna, and then you're going to be in an unhealthy relationship. So start to look at who you are attracting into your life, whether it's a partner or whether it's your friends, or business associates or what have you. So that they will tell you a lot about they'll tell you a lot about what's going on within you. And so I have a girlfriend from high school that always says water seeks its own level. And it's so true, and so what you're radiating out is what you're going to attract back into your life. So start to look at who you surround yourself with, because it'll give you cues and clues as to where you are and, you know, what you need to work on and grow with. Hey, Megan. Hi, Helena. So, according to Judith Orloff, who is a psychiatrist and, like, in my opinion, the empath guru, she talks about 3 types of relationships that are ideal for an empath. Yeah, life is totally a mirror. It's so true. Because like what, you know, and that's it. It's just like, and mirror neuron systems, right? We're always connecting and attracting and being empathic and compassionate, you know, but yeah, life is the mirror. So Judith Orloff talks about the 3 different types of relationships that are ideal for an empath. I know, Sarah, just wait for it. You're going to die. One is the rock. This person is consistent, stable, grounded, which is awesome for the super uber duper feeling empath. My friend Helena, who's watching right now, is, I think, a rock. And she's awesome because I'm just like, oh my God, like seriously? Like you just think in a totally different way. That just makes so much sense. And I just feel so awesome and grounded after I talk to her. So, the rock can handle the empath's intensity, and sometimes has difficulty expressing their own feelings, because they're just such a stable, awesome rock. So rocks ground the empath, and when in a relationship with one, you could literally balance each other out, okay? The second type of relationship is the intellectual. This is who I am married to. And he's kind of like, he's like a rock too, because literally I hug this guy and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so grounded. It's really just this fascinating experience. Anyway, the intellectual is a deep thinker. So we're a deep feeler, and then the intellectual is a deep a deep thinker and an analyzer, and moves through the world with rational, analytical, intellectual thought, essentially. And they are super calm. It's like super calm. And then this is us. So they are super calm during conflict, but they also have difficulty trusting their intuition, and they aren't very playful and emotional. And they make a good match for us because the intellect balances the emotional intensity of the empath. It's just like, a lot of times we are all heart and then they are all mind. And so when it is in balance, it is a really great balance for us. The third type of relationship that she talks about is being in a relationship with another empath. And this could be amazing, right? Because they're kind, they're supportive, they're passionate, they're empathic, they totally get it, they totally feel it, they totally get the need for space and alone time. That being said, the emotional intensity can be super overwhelming, and both can be easily triggered by the other person. Hey, Jean. And so I don't even know. I'm like trying to like reflect back really quickly. I don't think I've ever been in a relationship with another empath, because it's like, it would be way too intense. It's kind of like, look, I'm half Italian. I've never been in a relationship with an Italian guy, because I'm like, that is way too much intensity for one relationship. And so like start to think about it. Like, and so think about like your relationships, and are you in a relationship with a rock, with an intellectual, with another empath, and, you know, drop a little chat thingy that I can't think of the word of right now, because I'd love to know. Like, I want to know who you're in a relationship with and how that works for you guys. So that is it for today. Empaths in relationships. We're fucking doozies, man. We really are. And I fucking love it. I wouldn't want to be any other way, because this is what our souls decided to come in with, so that we could help heal and love not only ourselves, but our people and our planet. So, you know, do your soul care, people, so we could, you know, save the world. Oh man, your husband is an empath and you're an empath too. Ooh, interesting. You need to get that book, by the way, if you haven't gotten it, Anne. Okay. Peace out, everybody. I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week, and be safe. Love you. Bye. Oh, and he masquerades as a thinker. Ooh, that's interesting. I want to hear more about that one. Okay. Bye, guys.